All right, good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to History Maker Baseball here on the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. My name is Dave Little, and I am proud to have folks joining us for tonight's action from the Dave Cave as the 2005 San Diego Padres visit the 1997 St. Louis Cardinals. This is game one of the best 2 out of 3 semifinal series in the best team I've ever seen tournament. And this is a big game. This is essentially the National League Championship Series. And we have two teams that were not expected to make it this far in the tournament. The 2005 Padres won 82 games and just came off of a two games to none upset over the heavily favored 2001 Atlanta Braves. The Padres won a couple of one-run ball games with Trevor Hoffman picking up both the saves to advance to the semifinals. The real Cinderella story of this bracket is the 1997 Cardinals. This team only won 73 games in the regular season, but they have scratched and clawed their way into the semifinals, most recently picking up a 2-1 series victory over the 1993 Cubs and Sammy Sosa to squeak through to the semifinals. Matt Morris with a big pitching performance in the deciding game of that series. So tonight's pitching matchups for the Padres, it will be Jake Peavy. He is the man. 13-7 on the season, 2.88 by way of an ERA. Against the Cardinals, Todd Stottlemyre. Stottlemyre, a 12-game winner in 1997, but with a full point higher ERA at 3.88. So Peavy will be the man of the hour for the Padres tonight here in Busch Stadium from St. Louis. Your hot hitters on the ball game, Ramon Hernandez for the Padres. In the last game of the Braves series, Hernandez was 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. The cold guy for the Padres is Khalil Green. For the Cardinals, Gary Gaetti had a big game in the decider against the Cubs, scoring 2 runs on a pair of doubles, adding an RBI, as the Cardinals upset the Cubs to move to the semifinals. Ray Langford will be your cold guy. The Padres are fully harmonious for tonight's game. The Cardinals are semi-harmonious. The game day charts were not kind to the Padres. Dave Roberts is out for the game for San Diego. He will be unavailable to play today. For the Cardinals, reserve outfielder Brian Jordan will be hot. And the weather today is neutral. So that takes care of the particulars. We will be playing today in Busch Stadium in St. Louis. It is a semi-big ballpark for both righties and lefties and a grass field. Your umpires for tonight's ball game: at home plate, Utah Mike. At first base, Devin, the original Grognard. Our Red Sox fan is umpiring at second base, and umpiring at third base is Stratomatic Delaware. Both the bullpens are a little bit spent for these teams. The Cardinals had to go 3 full games against Chicago to move up. They will not have John Frascatore available tonight. Everybody else in the bullpen is available. Tony Fossis will be limited to 2 innings of work, according to the Stratomatic Tournament bullpen rules that we have covered in previous broadcasts. For the Padres, they did have a day off, but they still have Scott Linebrink, who is unavailable for bullpen work today, and he is a key member of that Padres middle relief crew. Everybody else is available for at least 1 inning of work or more. So those are your bullpen updates for tonight's ball game. Let's head to the starting lineups. For the visiting Padres, playing right field and leading off is Brian Giles, who has had some big hits in this tournament. Mark Loretta plays second base and bats second. First baseman Mark Sweeney bats third. Ramon Hernandez, the hot hitter for tonight, is your catcher and cleanup hitter for the Padres. Ryan Klesko playing left field. Khalil Green batting sixth and playing shortstop. Jeff Blum forced into the starting lineup tonight. He'll play third base and bat seventh. Damian Jackson, who had been starting in the infield, is going to be forced to move to center field tonight, replacing the injured Dave Roberts. He will be in center field and bat eighth. Pitching and batting ninth, as mentioned, Jake Peavy. And now we go to the St. Louis Cardinals starting lineup. Leading off, playing second base, the speedster Delino DeShields. The veteran Willie McGee bats second and plays right field. Ray Langford is a cold guy tonight for St. Louis, and he is still in his customary three-hole, playing center field. The hot-hitting Gary Gaetti plays third and bats cleanup. Tom Lampkin is your catcher, batting fifth. Royce Clayton batting sixth, playing shortstop. Batting seventh, the first baseman Dimitri Young. Batting eighth in left field is Ron Gant. Batting ninth and pitching tonight for the Cardinals is Todd Stottlemyre. And we have got everything covered. We'll say hello to Rob in the chat room. Welcome to Busch Stadium and the Dave Cave and the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network for semifinal action in the best team I've ever seen tournament. And I believe we are ready to play ball as Brian Giles stands in for the Padres against Todd Stottlemyre. Stottlemyre is a flash, a full flash, and a semi-control. And the opening pitch of the ball game is a 1-4-6. Is the pitcher a flash? He is a full flash. So Brian Giles strikes out swinging, and this ball game is underway. And Brandon Baker is here in the ballpark. Thank you for coming out this afternoon, Brandon. And ready for some baseball. Here we go. Mark Loretta batting second now, standing in against Todd Stottlemyre. And the pitch to Loretta is a 2-2-2. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a sad sack? No. And the result of this play is a line drive double to center field. Got that one in the gap between Ray Langford and Ron Gant, and Loretta will chug into second base safely with the first hit of the ball game. And that will take us to our team chemistry chart. On the team chemistry chart, the Cardinals are semi-harmonious, and the Padres are fully harmonious as Mark Sweeney comes to the plate, digging in against Stottlemyre with Mark Loretta now in scoring position. The roll is a 2-5. Do we have pitching team dissonance? No. So we do not have a lack of hustle allowing a modestly hit ball to drop in for a single. Instead, we have a routine fly ball out to Willie McGee in right field for the second out of the inning. Loretta holds up at second base. And now with two men out, it will be the hot-hitting Ramon Hernandez at the plate for San Diego. And Clinton Parks is at the ballpark. Good afternoon, sir. How are you? 1-3-3 is the pitch to Hernandez. Nothing on the pitcher's column. Is the batter a slugger? He is a semi-slugger, but the decider die says no. And the result of that roll is a fly out to left field. So Stottlemyre gave Hernandez a good pitch to hit, and he just got under it, allowing Ron Gant to chug over and make the catch for the final out of the inning. Hernandez wishing he had that one back. But we go to the bottom of the first. The score, San Diego 0, St. Louis coming to bat. And coming to bat for St. Louis will be Delino DeShields, leading off against the stellar performer for the Padres, Jake Peavy. And the first pitch from Peavy is a 2-2-4. Is Peavy pitching at home? No. Is the batter a slugger? No. And the result is a single to right field, and an active runner will steal. And there are no runners more active than Delino DeShields. So DeShields puts one in play, gets a single, and then advances to second on the stolen base. And that takes us to our right now chart. Willie McGee is the batter. He is neutral. Peavy just gave up a hit, so he is semi-cold. as McGee stands in. And the pitch, the roll is a 3-5. Do we have a hot batter? No. And the result is a fly out to left field. Ryan Klesko streaming over to make the catch, as McGee is retired for the first out here in the bottom of the first inning. And DeShields returns to second base. That brings to the plate Ray Langford, the cold hitting batter for the Cardinals tonight. Peavy looking in and delivers a 1-3-5, and that's our first mini chart roll of the game, with the red die being a 1 and the black die being a 3. That takes us to the memorable plays in the field chart. So what is going to happen in the field for the Padres? 1-3 is the roll. Is the right fielder iron? Your right fielder tonight is Brian Giles. He is indeed an iron fielder, so this can't be good. Brian Giles makes a bonehead play and allows the ball to drop for a double. My goodness, that will score DeShields. And quickly, the Cardinals are out on top 1-0. The Cinderella story continues for the boys from St. Louis, as Langford doubles and DeShields comes home to score, and it is a 1-0 ball game. And Amish Gaming is in the ballpark. Welcome to Busch Stadium. You are here in the bottom of the first inning. The St. Louis Cardinals have just taken a 1-0 lead over the San Diego Padres, with Ray Langford now at second base and the hot-hitting Gary Gaetti coming to bat. Gaetti takes a look at a 2-2-4. Is the pitcher pitching at home? No. Is the batter a slugger? No. Or utility? No. And the result of the play is a single to left. And on a lead die of 2, the runner will advance one base. So Langford pulls into third as Gaetti singles to put runners at the corners now, with still only one man out. And that brings to the plate Tom Lampkin, left-hitting catcher for the Cardinals. Infield is back, hoping to convert a double play here for Peavy to get out of the inning. 4-5-5 is the roll. Is the pitcher a flash? Peavy is indeed a flash, and that'll be a strikeout. So Lampkin strikes out swinging. The runners are forced to hold. And with 2 outs now, the batter will be Royce Clayton. Clayton stands in, hoping to plate a second run for the Cardinals here in the top of the first inning. The pitch from Peavy is a 1-5-6. Is Clayton a whiffer? Yes, he is, and that is a strikeout. So Peavy strikes out the final 2 men of the inning after the bad play in the field. But the damage has been done as the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead here at the end of the first inning. Oh yes, thank you, Amish Gaming. The present day Marty Brennan. Marty Brennan was my childhood hero. And I listened to every Reds game with my little transistor radio in my backpack or tucked under my pillow when they were out on the West Coast. So, top of the second now. Padres at bat, now trailing 1-0. Ryan Klesko will lead off against Stottlemyre. The pitch to Klesko is a 2-3-6. Is Stottlemyre a double control? No. Is it a pitcher batting? No. And the result of the roll is a base on balls. So Klesko trots to first base. And that brings to the plate Khalil Green. Green, a full slugger, a semi-slugger, semi-eager, full whiffer. 1-2-3 is the roll. Is the pitcher both flash and fresh? Stottlemyre is fresh, and he is a full flash. So that is a strikeout against Khalil Green, with Klesko holding at first base. And that brings to the plate today's third baseman, Jeff Blum. Blum takes a look at a 2-4-6. Is Stottlemyre a control? He is a semi-control. The decider die says no. Is Blum eager or a sad sack? No. And the result of this roll is going to be another walk. So that is 2 walks in the inning surrendered by Stottlemyre. And with 2 men on now and still just 1 out. Damian Jackson comes to the plate. Jackson starting in center field. Takes a look at a 2-4-5. Nothing on the pitcher's column. Is the batter a hero? No. And the result of the play is a pop out to second base. And with 2 men out and the runners holding at first and second, that brings Jake Peavy to the plate. He is, and it takes us to our player experience chart. Peavy is neutral on the experience chart. Todd Stottlemyre is an icon. So this matchup would appear to favor Stottlemyre. And on the player experience chart, we roll a 1-1. Is this a prospect pitcher? No. And so there will not be a drive to the fence. Instead, there will be a strikeout to end the inning. Peavy goes down swinging, and the Padres once again come up empty. So through 1.5 innings, it is still St. Louis 1, San Diego nothing. As the Cardinals will bring to the plate 7, 8, and 9. Dimitri Young, Ron Gant, and Todd Stottlemyre. Here comes Dimitri Young to lead things off. 2-3-4 is the roll. Are there runners on base? No. Is Dimitri Young a hot batter? No. And the result is a pop out to third base. Jeff Blum moving under that ball to make the play in foul territory for the first out of the inning. And now up comes Ron Gant. Gant didn't have a great 1997 season. He is a semi-utility batter, but he is a semi-home run king, and he did deliver a big home run in the Cubs series. The pitch to Gant is a 3-4-5. Do we have an iron catcher? I believe that Hernandez is a neutral fielder. Yes, Hernandez is a neutral fielder. So continuing on the 3-4-5 chart, does the batter have a good eye? No. And that is a strikeout. And with 2 outs, that brings Todd Stottlemyre to the plate. And it takes us to our baseball right now chart. Todd Stottlemyre is not a hot batter by any stretch of the imagination. Although he's just a semi-utility, so he's not the worst hitting pitcher ever. He will be a neutral batter. And Jake Peavy is a semi-hot pitcher by virtue of striking out the last man he faced. And the roll is a 2-4. Do we have a hot batter? No. So he is not able to deliver a bloop single over shortstop. Instead, that is a fly out to left field. Ryan Klesko will make the play to end the inning. So we're now through 2 innings complete, and it remains a 1-0 ball game in favor of the St. Louis Cardinals, the 1997 Cardinals. And after a quick refresher for the throat, we head to the top of the third and the top of the order for the Padres with Brian Giles to lead it off. 3-4-4 is the delivery. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? No. Is the batter a sad sack? No. Is the batter eager? No. And the result is a single to left field. So Brian Giles takes one the other way. And he is on first base to lead things off here in the third inning. Giles is a neutral runner. Catching today for the Cardinals is Tom Lampkin. He is a neutral catcher. So the successful stolen base would be on a 1-4 on the roll of a D6, assuming that Giles could get his lead. I think what we'll do is maybe take a look at that if we get to 2 outs, but we'll let Mark Loretta hit away here in this early contest. Loretta standing in against Stottlemyre. Loretta doubled his first time up, but was stranded at second base in the top of the first. This time the pitch to Loretta is a 1-2-4. Is this a control pitcher? Yes, it is. According to the decider die, that's a ground ball to shortstop, and with the lead die of 1, that's a double play ball. So bad managing there. As Loretta rolls into the 6-4-3 double play, and the base runner is erased. 2 outs now for Mark Sweeney. And Beatles Eternally is in the ballpark. Welcome, my friend, to History Maker Baseball. And Mark Sweeney standing in against Todd Stottlemyre. The pitch to Sweeney, a 4.45. Is Stottlemyre a workman? No. Is Sweeney patient? Yes. So Sweeney will draw the walk. And now we again have a runner on first base with 2 men out for Hernandez. And Sweeney is a neutral runner, so we will try the stolen base. The stolen base mechanic in History Maker Baseball is you roll the decider die, and if the pit comes up, then the batter is able to get his lead. If the blank comes up, there's no attempt at the steal. Based on the calculations of a normal fielding catcher and a normal runner, the likelihood of a successful stolen base is 1 to 4. So if the pip comes up and the die is 1 to 4, it's a successful stolen base. If we get a pip and a 5 or a 6, it's a caught stealing. And the result of this is a blank decider die. So that means Sweeney is unable to get the lead. He will be forced to hold at first as Hernandez comes to the plate now to face Stottlemyre with 2 outs. Hernandez, your hot hitter today. And the pitch is a 1-4-4. Is the pitcher a flash? Yes, he is. That is a strikeout. Unless we have a questionable or strict, a questionable or strict umpire calls strike 3. Other umpires call ball 4. Utah Mike is actually a lenient plate umpire, so he does not call strike 3. He's going to call that ball 4, and Hernandez will go to first base. So a little umpire issue here. Stottlemyre staring in at Utah Mike as Hernandez trots down to first base. And now with 2 on and 2 out, Ryan Klesko comes to the plate. Here is Ryan Klesko with the opportunity to drive home the tying run. The pitch to Klesko is a 2-2-3. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter a slugger or a utility? No. And the result of the play is a single to left field. And on a lead die of 2, an active runner can score from second base on any hit. Other runners will advance 1 base on singles. So Sweeney is not an active runner. He will have to hold. And so everybody moves up a base. And now with 2 out and the bases loaded, it will be Khalil Green coming to the plate. And unfortunately for San Diego, Khalil Green is the cold batter in today's ball game. Big situation here in the early going. Green facing Stottlemyre. And the pitch from Stottlemyre is a 2-6-6. And, I hate this roll, but it is what it is. Runner on first, thrown out. So it would have been an out anyways, but what happened here is that Ryan Klesko is thrown out at first base. What we'll say is that the pitch got away from Tom Lampkin, and the runners wandered off the bases, and Klesko was thrown out trying to get back to first. And that, unfortunately, ends the inning and ends the threat for San Diego. So he is out at first base. He is tagged out 2-3. And that is the end of the inning. So Khalil Green will be at the plate when the Padres return to bat in the 4th. But we go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's still a 1-0 game in favor of St. Louis, with the top of the order coming up for the Cardinals. Delino DeShields stands in against Jake Peavy. DeShields singled his first time at the plate. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? Yes. And that is a pop out to first base. Harmless pop up for Delino DeShields, as Mark Sweeney makes the play just in foul territory. And that is the first out of the inning, and brings to the plate Willie McGee. Willie McGee takes a look at a 3-6-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is McGee a pinch hitter? No. That's a fly out to center field. So the substitute center fielder for the day, Damian Jackson, ranges over and makes that catch for the second out of the inning, and that brings to the plate Ray Langford. Langford doubled his first time at bat to drive in the first run of the game, but he is still the cold batter throughout the ball game. And he takes a look at a 3-4-6. Is the batter eager? No. And the result is a base on balls. So Langford draws the walk with 2 outs, and that will take us to the team chemistry chart with hot-hitting Gary Gaetti coming to the plate. The roll on the team chemistry chart is a 5-6. Do we have pitching team dissonance? No. So the pitcher does not lose his confidence. Instead, he delivers a strikeout to Gaetti to end the inning. So that takes us now to the top of the 4th. And the pitchers are now considered semi-fresh. And by virtue of that last play, we're going to start this inning on the team chemistry, on the baseball right now chart. Let's see, Khalil Green struck out his first at-bat, so he will be considered semi-cold. And on the last at-bat for Stottlemyre, that was the play where Klesko was tagged out at first. So Stottlemyre is neutral. So neutral pitcher, semi-cold batter. And on a roll of 5-6, timeout is called. There's a conference at the mound, and when play resumes, the batter draws a base on balls. So Khalil Green draws the walk to lead off the inning. And that brings Jeff Blum to the plate. Green is a neutral runner, and we made this mistake last inning by not sending the runner when we had the chance. So we are going to take a look once again at a stolen base opportunity for Khalil Green. ID Jester is here. Hello, ID Jester. Thank you for stopping in. And once again, the decider die says the runner is unable to get the lead. So it will be Blum batting against Stottlemyre with Khalil Green holding it first. 1-3-4 is the roll. Do we have a gold catcher? No. Do we have a champion batter? No. And the result of the play is outfield drama. Picking up the volume a little bit here for the benefit of Clinton Parks. And we have outfield drama in St. Louis. We've got some good outfielders there for the Cardinals. And the roll is a 1-2. Is the right fielder iron? That's Willie McGee. I don't believe he's iron. No, he is a neutral fielder later in his career. So he will not misjudge the ball. Instead, it will go for a routine flyout. So score that, 9 unassisted on the flyout. Khalil Green returns to first base. And now with 1 out, Damian Jackson comes to the plate. Here's Jackson. Flied out his first at bat. The pitch from Stottlemyre is a 1-2-4. Is he a control pitcher? He is semi-control, but the decider die says no. Is the batter eager? Damian Jackson is not, and the result is a base on balls. So the second walk of the inning, and I believe that's at least 4 walks that Stottlemyre has surrendered. And the Padres are yet to capitalize with 1 out now and Jake Peavy at the plate. Peavy, not a bad hitter. He's a semi-sad sack. But that's much better than most pitchers who would be full utility and full sad sack. So with 1 out, I think we'll go ahead and let Peavy hit rather than drop down a bunt. If he were a really bad hitting pitcher, I would have him go ahead and bunt with 1 out. But we'll take our chances now against Stottlemyre here with 2 men on and only 1 out. And the pitch to Peavy is a 1-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter whiffer? Yes, he is a whiffer, and that is a strikeout. The runners will hold, but that does bring to the plate Brian Giles with 2 on and 2 out now. And Giles, a dangerous hitter at the plate, semi-champion hitter. So Giles stands in against Stottlemyre, and the roll is a 3-4-5. Do we have an iron catcher? No. Does the batter have a good eye? No. And the end result is a strikeout. So Giles strikes out, and once again, the Padres leave runners on base, but fail to score. And we are through 3 1/2 now. with the Cardinals still holding that 1-0 lead. And in the bottom of the fourth, it will be Tom Lampkin leading off as we go to the Baseball Right Now chart. Lampkin struck out in his last at-bat, so he will be semi-cold. And the last batter Peavy faced struck out looking, so Peavy is semi-hot. When we get to the 6th inning, those qualities become full cold and full hot. But innings 1 through 5, these are considered semi-qualities. And on a roll of 2-5, do we have a hot batter? No, we do not. So he does not rip the pitch into right field for a single. Otherwise, the line drive down the line is fielded by the first baseman for the line drive out. So nice catch of the line drive by Mark Sweeney. He had to climb the ladder to get to that one for the first out of the inning. And that brings to the plate now Royce Clayton. The shortstop struck out his first time at bat against Peavy. The pitch from Peavy is a 1-4-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Nothing. The batter's column, and the end result of the play is a ground out to third. Jeff Blum making the play for St. Louis, for the Padres for the second out of the inning, and that brings to the plate Dimitri Young, the switch hitting first baseman. Young against Peavy looks at a 1-1-6. Is the pitcher fresh? He is semi-fresh, and the decider die now says no. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? No. And the end result is a single to right. Excuse me, a single to left. Dimitri Young takes that one the other way for a 2-out base hit. And that brings to the plate Ron Gant. Gant struck out his last time at bat. Peavy needs to hold this lead at 1 and hope his offense can get something going. And now we've got another 1-3-5. And this time it is a blue one, which means we will go to the umpire mini chart. And there is a runner at first. So let's see what these wild and crazy umpires have to do this time. The roll is a 4-5. Do we have a strict umpire at first base? We do not. A strict umpire would call the batter out despite a late throw. Other umpires call the batter safe. The runner advances to second in either case. So we'll score that an infield single for Ron Gant. As Young moves to second, and there are now 2 on and 2 out for Todd Stottlemyre. Stottlemyre also is not a horribly bad hitting pitcher. He is a semi-utility. And Peavy desperately needs to get out of this inning without any further damage. The pitch to Stottlemyre is a 1-6-6. Is the pitcher fresh? Once again, the decider die says no. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? We're going to have to roll the decider die again. And this time it comes up yes. So that does make Stottlemyre a utility. And that is a comebacker to the mound for the final out of the inning. So Peavy dances off the hook. And the score remains 1-0 St. Louis through 4 innings. And that means time for another drink for your play-by-play announcer. That good old Mountain Dew. All right, top of the 5th. Coming to the plate for the Padres will be 2, 3, and 4. Mark Loretta, Mark Sweeney, and Ramon Hernandez. Loretta standing in, 1 for 2 with a double on the ball game. The pitch from Stottlemyre is 3-3-3. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter utility or sad sack? No. And that is going to be a triple into the gap. How about that? Mark Loretta gets hold of one, drives it down the left field line. Ron Gant gives chase as Loretta tears around the bases. Gant has trouble picking it up in the corner. Loretta makes the turn and comes into third base sliding for a leadoff triple. So Loretta has doubled and tripled. Oops. And he's just a homer and a single away from a cycle. As Mark Sweeney comes to the plate. It is the 5th inning. And runs are precious for the Cardinals, so they are going to bring the infield in against Mark Sweeney. You're not going to walk Sweeney in this situation because the next batter is Ramon Hernandez, who is your hot-hitting cleanup batter. So they're going to pitch to Sweeney with the infield in. The pitch from Stottlemyre, 2-3-6. Double control or dynamic, no. Pitcher batting, no. And that's a base on balls. So Sweeney draws the unintentional walk. That brings the hot-hitting Hernandez to the plate. Now what I think we'll do is play in at the corners, and we'll play the middle infield at double play depth because Hernandez is a good candidate for a double play. And they will, in this situation, give up the run to get the double play here in the 5th inning. And guys in the chat room, certainly, if you disagree with any of my managerial decisions, please say so. Sometimes I'll ask the audience for participation. Sometimes I'll roll a decider die. But in this case, I'm going to play my hunches and bring the corners in and leave the middle infield at double play depth. The pitch from Stottlemyre, 2-3-6. Double control or dynamic, no. Pitcher batting, no, and that is another walk. So we are in trouble now with the bases loaded and nobody out as the leadoff triple to Loretta, followed by a pair of walks. Stottlemyre is now a semi-struggler as a result of 3 consecutive men allowed on base. So we'll not pull him just yet, but bullpen action starts for St. Louis. They do not have John Frascatore today because of the amount of time that he was used in the previous series. They've got a somewhat capable bullpen. Dennis Eckersley is your closer. T.J. Matthews is an ace in middle relief. Tony Fossis is neutral. Rigo Beltran, a semi-star. Mark Petkazik is a workman. So they do have some bullpen innings available with some decent arms as action starts up in the bullpen. But for now, it is going to be Ryan Klesko facing Todd Stottlemyre with the bases loaded. And the infield is going to be at regular depth. Their concern now is to cut off a rally. If they have to give up 1 run and get a double play, they're happy to do that at this point in time. Here's the pitch from Stottlemyre. It's a 1-3-4. Do we have a gold catcher? No. Do we have a champion batter? No. We have outfield drama. Oh my goodness. I love this game because of things like this. We don't know what's going to happen here in the outfield. And, this may not be the most statistically accurate recreation of the game of baseball, but this game tells great stories. And we're telling a great story right now with the umpiring of Utah Mike earlier in the game, and now we've got outfield drama. And let's see what's going to happen here. The roll is a 4-6. Is the left fielder iron? Ron Gant is your left fielder, and he's actually semi-gold, so he is not iron. So he makes the running grab of a hooking line drive for a line out. And on a lead die of 4, we go to the mini chart for base running. Runner on third base scores on flyouts. So, score that as a sacrifice fly on a fine running catch for Ron Gant, and that is a big deal for the Cardinals because that could have been trouble. If that ball drops in for extra bases, actually it just would have been a single for Gant. So he dove and made the catch, and Mark Loretta alertly tagged and scored before Gant could get up and make a throw. So it is now a tie ball game, 1-1. And let's do some scorekeeping. So it is an out. It is a sacrifice fly to left field. Mark Loretta scores, and the other 2 runners are held up. And now we have runners at first and second with one man out and Khalil Green coming to the plate. And we go to the team chemistry chart by virtue of that last roll. So Klesko is credited with a sacrifice fly, and it is now a 1-1 ball game. And Stottlemyre is not yet out of trouble. He is out of the struggler status because he got an out and is no longer considered a semi-struggler. So we go to the team chemistry chart, and the roll is a 2-4. Do we have batting team harmony? Yes, we do. And the batter connects on a bloop single. Padres came into this game fully harmonious. And on a lead die of 2, runners advance 1 base on singles, 2 bases on doubles. Active runners score from second on any hit. Mark Sweeney is not an active runner. He's a neutral runner. So he will stop at third on the bloop single into center field. But once again, the bases are loaded. And now there is still 1 out as Jeff Blum comes to the plate. So score that a single for Green. Sweeney goes to third. Hernandez stops at second. And once again, we have the bases loaded with now Jeff Blum at the plate. And the infield once again will play back. Blum facing Stottlemyre. The pitch is a 1-2-6. Is the pitcher fresh? He is semi-fresh, and the decider die says yes. So that is a line drive out to second base. A big out for Stottlemyre as DeShields goes to his right, ranging into short center field to make the catch on that line drive. And the runners are forced to hold at their respectable bases. And with 2 outs now and the bases loaded, Damian Jackson comes to the plate. Stottlemyre really hoping to get out of danger here as Jackson stands in. And the pitch is a 1-1-3. Is the pitcher an ace or dynamic? No. Is the batter a slugger? No. The end result is a single to center field. So Jackson connects on a base hit up the middle. That will score Mark Sweeney on a lead die of 1. With 2 outs, any runner scores from second on any hit. So a 2-run single for Damian Jackson, and the San Diego Padres take their first lead of the ball game. Sweeney will score. Ramon Hernandez will score. Let's see. The lead die was 1. Runners advance 1 base on hit. So Green will stop at second. And Damian Jackson pulls in at first with a 2-run single, and it is now a 3-1 ball game in favor of the San Diego Padres. That brings Jake Peavy to the plate. And this will be the final hitter that Stottlemyre will face. No sense in bringing in a reliever now. Stottlemyre is not yet in struggler status. Peavy is the pitcher. And on a roll of 2-4-4, is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter a champion? No. Is the batter a whiffer? Yes. That is a strikeout to end the inning. But the damage has been done as the Padres come up with 3 big runs in the top of the 5th to take a 3-1 lead for Jake Peavy. And we're going to put a dot there on Stottlemyre to remind us to pull him at the beginning of the next inning. All right. It is now the bottom of the 5th inning, and the top of the order coming to the plate for the Cardinals, now facing a 2-run deficit against Jake Peavy. Time for Peavy to throw some strikes and get some outs here in the bottom of the 5th. DeShields leads off, and the first pitch is a 2-4-4. Is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter a champion? No. Is the batter a whiffer? The decider die says yes, and that is a strikeout. Willie McGee comes to the plate. McGee 0 for 2 with a pair of flyouts on this game. And the pitch from Peavy is a 2-3-5. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter eager? He is semi-eager, and the decider die says yes. Is the batter a whiffer? Yes, he is. That is a strikeout. That's kind of a funky reading. An eager batter gets a single through shortstop unless the batter is a whiffer, in which case it goes as a strikeout. So McGee swings and misses for the second out of the inning. And that brings to the plate the cold-hitting Ray Langford. Langford came into the game with a cold designation, but he has doubled and walked in his 2 plate appearances so far. The pitch from Peavy is a 3-3-4. Is Peavy an ace or a star? He is a star, and the result is a pop out to first base. So Peavy got the lead, and he immediately starts mowing him down with a 1-2-3 inning here in the bottom of the 5th. We go to the top of the 6th. It is still the Padres 3 and the Cardinals 1. And as I mentioned, we're going to pull Stottlemyre at this point in time in favor of a middle reliever. Coming to bat for the Padres, we have Brian Giles, who is the most dangerous man in the Padres lineup, and a lefty, followed by Mark Loretta and Mark Sweeney. So it's lefty, righty, lefty. And if you ever watch me put together a lineup, I'm very fond of the lefty, righty, alternating at-bats. And I think that has to do with the fact that I played so many Stratomatic tournaments early in my gaming career. And if you've ever played in a Stratomatic tournament, it's pretty insane, but it's very focused heavily on matchups and particularly on bullpen matchups. So having that lefty, righty, lefty alternating sequence gives the manager the advantage of the opposing manager not being able to just bring in a one-way pitcher off the bench and mow down a string of right-hand batters. So it is lefty, righty, lefty coming up. We need the Cardinals bullpen. And in the Cardinals bullpen for lefties, we have Rigo Beltran and Tony Fossis. Beltran is a semi-star. Fossis is neutral. And from a usage standpoint, Fossis, let's see, this is game 11. Fossis is available for 2 innings. Beltran is available for 2 1/3. So both guys are readily available. And given the early stage of the ball game and the fact that it's the top of the order coming up, I'm going to go with the stronger of the 2 pitchers. So it will be Rigo Beltran coming on here for the Cardinals in the top of the 6th to face Giles and the top of the order for San Diego. So hello to IPJet in the, PJet in the chat room. And just out of curiosity, guys in the chat room, have any of you ever played in gaming tournaments of any sort in the past? What has been your experiences? And maybe after the game, or I'll talk more about my experiences playing in Stratomatic tournaments and what that was like. So Stottlemyre goes 5 full innings. And Rigo Beltran comes in to replace Stottlemyre. Let's remember to replace him in the lineup. Number 53 in your scorebook and number 1 in our hearts is Rigo Beltran, standing in to face Brian Giles. So PJet played in the 78 Strat Convention. Very interesting. I'd love to hear more about the 78 Strat Convention and how that went. You know, where was that and what was that like? I didn't pick up Stratomatic until 1986, and I did go to a Stratomatic convention in Akron, Ohio in, I believe, 1996 or thereabouts. Got to meet Hal Richmond and a lot of and Glenn Guzzo was the Strat. He published a magazine. He was a journalist in Akron, Ohio, who published a Stratomatic newsletter, and he was the one who put on the convention in Akron, Ohio. And I was able to go with a friend up to Akron and enjoy a weekend of Stratomatic and met Hal Richmond at that time. So I'd love to hear more about the 78 Strat convention from PJet as we head back to the ballpark for action here in the top of the sixth, as Brian Giles is in to lead it off against Rigo Beltran. The pitch from Beltran is a 5.66. Is Beltran wild? No, he's a semi-control. Does Giles have a good eye? No. And that's a strikeout. So the pitch to Giles could have been ball 4, but he swung through it and goes down swinging to lead off the top of the sixth. And that takes us to the baseball right now chart. Mark Loretta tripled in his last at bat. So he is, and this is the sixth inning, so he is a full hot hitter. And Rigo Beltran is a full hot pitcher. So interesting stuff here on the baseball right now chart. 6-6 is the roll. Do we have a hot batter? Yes, we do. He smashes a pitch into the center field stands, and that is a home run. How about that? Mark Loretta got all of that one. He has doubled, tripled, and homered. He is a single short of the cycle as he touches them all, and the fans here at Busch Stadium are in awe and distraught. It is now a 4-1 ball game as Loretta lines one to the deepest part of Busch Stadium. It is high and it is deep and it is gone. What an afternoon for Mark Beltran. It is a 4-1 ball game. Excuse me, Mark Loretta homering off of Rigo Beltran. And that brings Mark Sweeney to the plate. Sweeney will fly out in a pair of walks today. Beltran not looking happy on the mound. The pitch from Beltran is a 1.46. Is he a flash? He is a full flash, and so he blows away Sweeney. Sweeney goes down swinging, and with 2 outs now, we've got the hot-hitting Ramon Hernandez at the plate. Hernandez against Beltran. The pitch is a 1-2-2. Is the pitcher a workman? No. Is the batter a champ or a whiffer? No. And the result of that is a line out to third base. And that ends the inning. But the Padres strike again as Loretta goes deep, and it is now a 4-1 ball game. So D. Scott Howard played in a pre-World Series meet in Seattle. Lost 4 games. Met Keith Avalone and Devin the OG. Great day of History Maker baseball and some History Maker golf. Dave Garner just had a game where Wade Boggs hit double, triple, and homer, but couldn't get the single in his last at bat. How about that? So, never a dull moment here in the world of tabletop gaming. Yeah, nice story there, D. Scott. I was able to go to my first ever play meetup in Milwaukee. I believe it was 2 years ago. Keith Avalone did come to Milwaukee. I guess he's got family in that area. And I was able to make the drive over and meet Keith for the first time. Although my only play game experience to that point was the red, white, and blue racing. At that tournament, it was the coolest thing that happened on that day was that all the play games were on display. The basketball game, Keith did some very preliminary demonstrations of the basketball game. But that was the day that I met and got to know Bob Hansen. Some of you may have seen Bob Hansen in the Play.com website or on their Facebook page. He will pop into these chats from time to time. And Bob Hansen is singularly one of the most nice human beings I have ever had the pleasure to meet. He lives over in the Milwaukee area. He showed up at the Play.com meetup with a full stack of play games in a game carrier, and he sat me down and showed me every single game that Play.com has produced. He taught me bowling, he taught me golf, he taught me football, he taught me some soccer and some hockey. Very, very nice man, Bob Hansen. Bob, if you get to see this, my hat's off to you. I love you, brother. Thank you for a great day of History Maker Baseball and such. Brandon, I live in Madison, Wisconsin. Is my adopted hometown. I was born and raised in Ohio, big Reds fan. Lived and worked in Dayton, Ohio from 1991 to 2010. And in 2010, I relocated to Madison, Wisconsin. I am still a loyal Buckeye fan. My son is a loyal Wisconsin Badger fan, so we have a little friendly rivalry. I did give up on the Bengals after a few years, and my allegiance is now with the Packers. But I'm still Cincinnati Reds and Ohio State Buckeyes all the way, along with the Green Bay Packers and the Milwaukee Bucks. So, back to action. Brandon Baker's in Indiana. Good to hear from you, my friend. Okay, it is the bottom of the sixth. Jake Peavy still on the mound for San Diego. And leading off for the Cardinals is the hot-hitting Gary Gaetti. And the pitch to Gaetti is a 3-4-4. Is the pitcher a prospect? No. Peavy is neutral at this phase in his career. Is the batter patient? No. The result is a pop out to second base. Mark Loretta, the hero of the day, gets under that one and makes the play. And with one out, that brings to the plate the catcher, Tom Lampkin. And the roll to the pitch to Lampkin is a 2-4-6. Is Peavy a control? Yes, he is a full control. And that is going to be a weak dribbler back to the mound. Peavy pounces on it and makes the play. That's 5 in a row for Peavy since he got the lead. And Peavy is rolling, and I probably just jinxed him there, but we'll see what happens as Royce Clayton comes to the plate. And here comes Clayton. 2-3-6 is the pitch to Clayton. Is the pitcher a double control? No. Is it a pitcher batting? No. And sure enough, that is a base on balls. So the jinx is in. Clayton walks. But the Cardinals are still 3 runs down as Dimitri Young comes to the plate with 2 outs now and Clayton on first. Clayton is a semi-active runner, but no reason to steal a base trailing by 3 runs at this point in the ballgame. So here's Dimitri Young against Peavy. The pitch from Peavy is a 2-2-6. 2-2-6. Is the batter hit by a pitch? The decider die says no. Is this the cleanup batter? No. Young is batting 7th. Is he a whiffer? Yes, he is. That is a strikeout. So Dimitri Young swings through strike 3 to end the inning. And as we go to the top of the 7th, it is now a 4-1 ball game in favor of the Padres. Let's see, Rigo Beltran is still on the mound. He'll be semi-fresh this inning. And according to our bullpen usage chart, I believe, yeah, he can go. Yeah, his last outing was 3 days ago, so his innings will recycle tomorrow. So Beltran is eligible to pitch another inning. So he will stay on the mound in a semi-fresh condition to face 5, 6, and 7. Ryan Klesko, Khalil Green, and Jeff Blum. Klesko stands in. Left-hand batter against left-hand pitcher. And 1-2-4 is the roll. Is he a control pitcher? He is semi-control, but the decider die says no. Is the batter eager? No. And the result of the roll is a base on ball. That brings to the plate Khalil Green. He is your cold batter for today. Semi-slugger, semi-eager. Would we drop down a bunt here? Probably not with a 3-run lead. Just because Green is cold. He does have the righty-lefty matchup advantage. And the pitch from Beltran is a 1-2-5. Is he a struggler? No. Is the batter patient? No. Is the batter a whiffer? Yes, and that is a strikeout. So Green strikes out. Klesko holds it first. And that brings Jeff Blum to the plate. Blum standing in against Beltran. Blum, the switch hitter, batting righty. 2-3-6 is the roll. Is the pitcher a double control? No. Is it a pitcher batting? No. It's another base on balls. And that brings Damian Jackson to the plate. What to do, what to do. No need to make a move just yet, as Beltran is going to wave off the pitching coach. Now, in real History Maker baseball, there are actually some cool manager cards where I could do something like do a trip to the mound, and that would give an extra advantage to the pitcher. I never really got that deeply into the History Maker game engine because I'm managing both teams, and I would hate to have to, play both teams. But if you've ever watched Steve Tower play his History Maker baseball broadcasts, he plays one team and follows them through a season, and this is a wonderful game for that scenario because you do get these things like players will go on hot streaks and cold streaks that'll stretch out over multiple games. Managers can do things like challenge the video replay and go to the mound and do things like that to influence the game. So if you've ever had a hankering to try History Maker baseball and you like the idea of managing a team through a season, particularly the fictitious teams that History Maker baseball puts out that are wonderful, watch Steve Tower do a History Maker baseball broadcast sometime. It is a joy to watch. Okay, so one out, runners at first and second. Damian Jackson is your batter. And the pitch from Beltran is a 1-5-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a whiffer? He is a semi-whiffer, but the decider die this time says no. And the result of this roll is going to be outfield drama. Another exciting moment here in Busch Stadium as Jackson hits a ball into the outfield, and we go to the outfield drama chart to see what happens. The roll is a 1-4. Is the right fielder gold? The right fielder is Willie McGee, and at this point in his career, his fielding is neutral. He might have been gold earlier in his career. So the gold fielder would make an incredible sliding catch of a looping liner. Otherwise, the batter lines a base hit to right field, and it falls for a single. The lead die on the play is 1, which means runners advance one base on hits unless it's an active runner. Klesko is not an active runner by any stretch of the imagination. So Klesko is unsure whether that ball is going to be caught. He has to hold up at second base until the ball drops in front of McGee. McGee short hops it, and Klesko pulls into third base to load the bases with one out now and the pitcher coming to the plate. Now we've got decisions to make on both sides. Let's see, the result of that play is going to take us to the player experience chart. Rigo Beltran is a prospect pitcher, so I think they would pull him at this point in time. Jake Peavy is the batter. He's also pitching a masterful game with one out and the bases loaded. So the question becomes what to do here. Do you pinch hit for Peavy, or do you pinch hit for Peavy in hopes of breaking the game open, or do you leave Peavy in hopes of him continuing to pitch, although he has pitched 6 complete and now his freshness is gone. So first things first, Jake Peavy is announced as the hitter and steps in at the plate. They would do that first before they would make a decision on Beltran. That really doesn't matter because that does matter because they could choose if they chose the pinch hitter first, then they could choose the batter or they could choose the pitcher to face the batter. So Peavy will come stand at the plate. That will force the hand of the defensive manager, and they are going to pull Beltran at this point in time. With Peavy at the plate, the next batter would be Brian Giles, a very dangerous left-handed hitter. So what the Cardinals would do in this case would be to come with their left-handed reliever, Tony Fossis. So Fossis comes into the game. After Beltran pitched 1 1/3 innings. That brings Fossis into the game. He is able to go 2 full innings before he would have to be pulled due to bull usage rules. Now the next decision is, do we let Peavy bat for himself on the player experience chart, facing Tony Fossis, the icon? If we bring in a pinch hitter, then that would be on the standard chart. And actually, it would be on the standard chart anyways. Once you bring in a replacement pitcher, that negates the effect of the mini charts and takes you back to the standard charts. Regardless of who comes to the plate, Tony Fossis will get the ace quality because he's coming in to face a hitter in the middle of the inning. So now the question is, does Peavy bat for himself, or does San Diego pull the trigger and try to break the game open? With a 3-run lead and Tony Fossis on the mound, I'm going to let Peavy hit. Unless anybody in the chat room, I'll give you about 15 seconds to weigh in while I take a drink. Maybe 30 seconds. And unless we get strong objections from the managers in the stands, we are going to let Peavy bat for himself. Another 10 seconds. All right. It will be Jake Peavy batting for himself with the bases loaded, 1 out to face Tony Fossis. And with Peavy at the plate, he is a semi-sad sack. He's a full scrapper, semi-eager, and a whiffer. The Cardinals are going to gamble, and they're going to play the infield in to... no, they're going to do the in at the corners, double play depth at the up the middle. We'll do that. All right, here we go. Big at-bat here for both teams. The roll is a 3-3-6. Is the pitcher an ace? Yes, he is. He's got the ace quality for this at-bat, since it's the first batter of a new inning. He is an ace, so that will be a fly out to center field. A stoic runner on third base holds on flyouts. Others will score. Ryan Klesko is the runner at third. He is semi-stoic, but the decider die says no. So that means Klesko is able to score on the flyout. So that goes as a sacrifice fly for Jake Peavy. Klesko scores the Padres' 5th run of the game, and it is now a 4-run lead. So Peavy is retired on the sacrifice fly to center field. Klesko scores. The other runners will hold, and it is a 5-1 ball game with 2 outs now. Runners at first and second for Brian Giles. And let me see, that's actually a team chemistry chart, or I'm sorry, a player experience chart reading. So we now have an icon pitcher and an icon batter as we go to the player experience chart. And the roll is a 3-3. Do we have a prospect batter? No. That would result in a chopper to the pitcher. Otherwise, the batter connects and it's a fence shot. Oh my goodness. Brian Giles has a fence chart. He is a semi-slugger, and the decider die says yes. So he will read off of the slugger chart as he hits a deep drive into left center field. Gant's going back, Langford's going back, And on a roll of 2, that ball is off the top of the wall, and it's going to go for a double. The lead die on that play was a 3. Runners advance 2 bases on any hit, single, or double. And so Jackson will hold up at third, but Jeff Blum will score, and it is now a 6-1 ball game. So Blum will score. Jackson pulls in at third. Brian Giles holds up at second, and it is now a 6-1 ball game. So that was a fine play by Langford, who chased that ball down in the gap, got the ball to the cutoff man in a hurry, and the Cardinals were at least able to keep Jackson from scoring from first on the double. But it is a 6-1 game now, and the fence, the wheels are off the truck now. And of course, I forgot to bring Fossis into the game on the computer. So let me do that now, and I'll have to adjust the box score later. And I blame that entirely on the people in the chat room. You should have reminded me. Okay, so actually what we'll do is undo that, and we'll undo the play before. Now we'll bring Fossis in, because I'm afraid it might not let me replace Giles. Now, Fossis against Giles, that was a double. Blum scores. Jackson to third. Giles holds at second. And now we're going to pull Fossis in favor of a righty. And with a 5-run lead, they are going to go to the bullpen once again, and I think we're going to use our scrubs in this case. Yeah, T.J. Matthews is the right-handed setup guy. He is a full ace, but he also has some freshness limitations. So we are going to bring in the mop-up guy, a.k.a. the white flag, Mark Petkizek, to replace Fossis. So Fossis went 1/3 of an inning. He was the one that got the fly out of Jake Peavy. And now it is Mark Petkizek coming into the game. Petkizek is a full workman, so it's going to get ugly now. And it will be Mark Loretta leading off for... Let's see, we might want to do a double switch here because the pitcher's spot is up second in the order. Yeah, let's do a double switch. So undo the change. Here we go. And what we're going to do now is double switch. We're going to pull Dimitri Young from the game. He was the last man to hit in the previous inning. And coming in to play first base, none other than the legendary Mark McGwire. And he will bat in the number 9 hole, and we'll put Petkizek in the number 7 hole. So now we will replace Fossis with Petkizek. And we'll go to the offense chart. And in the number 9 hole, we will insert Mark McGwire. In the number 7 hole, we will insert Mark Petkizek. And at first base, we will insert Mark McGwire on defense. And I think I got it all right. Decider Die says McGwire is juiced. Blank, roll again. Very good, Brandon. I see your opinion of Mark McGwire is right on par with mine. So let's make sure we did things right. Yeah, we've got McGwire in the number 9 hole, Petkizek in the 7 hole, Peavy on the mound, McGuire at first base. So we are good to go here. And Mark Loretta stands in with 2 on and 2 out, facing Peavy, who is a workman but also an ace for this at-bat because he's a reliever coming in the middle of the inning. Loretta, as we recall, is a single away from the cycle. So all kinds of exciting things happening here in the top of the 7th. 155 is the roll. Is the batter a home run king? He is not. So we don't have another home run to center. Instead, we've got a fly out to center field to end the inning. So maybe Loretta will get one more crack at it in the 9th. Certainly with Peavy on the mound, all bets are off. But that is going to be a fly out. And mercifully, that ends the 7th inning, but not before the Padres pick up 2 more vital insurance runs, and it is now a 6-1 game headed into the bottom of the 7th. Okay, it's 7th inning stretch time, and since D. Scott Howard has taken responsibility for me forgetting to properly input the pitchers in the box score, D. Scott Howard is now going to entertain us with his rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And actually, while we're taking a break here, I'll give my brief tale of the Strat-O-Matic tournaments I used to play in. There used to be a organization called the Star Tours, S-T-A-R, Star Tournaments. I believe it is now the Strat-O-Matic Tournament Players Club or something like that. They're still going at it so many years later, but I played in a number of Star Tournament weekend events from about the mid-90s until the early 2000s. And any of those individual stories is fun to tell. But to make a long story short, I really enjoyed the weekend tournaments, but they were intense. You started 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, played well into the night on Saturday, got up and got after it again on Sunday, and played, you drafted teams in divisions, and you could have divisions from anywhere from 8 to 12 players. And you would draft a full 25-man roster plus a ballpark. And you would start play by noon on Saturday and just play into the night and into the following day. And for each set of guys, you would have a division. And the division winners would move into the championship brackets, and the also-rans would move into the losers brackets. And, based on, your standings after division play, you could be playing for the tournament win, or you could be playing for smaller prizes in the losers brackets. Great fun. 95% of the people that I ran across were great people. And with any crowd, you get somebody who's maybe a little too competitive, or the thing that triggers me more than anything is that I really do not care for the use of profanity. And, most guys were very respectful for that, but every so often you'd come against a guy who was having a bad day, and words would be spoken in frustration that I didn't particularly care to listen to, but that was by far the exception rather than the rule. 95% of all the guys I met on the Star Tour were fabulous guys and wonderful gentlemen, and way better strat players than I was. The only thing I really didn't like about Strat-O-Matic tournament play on weekends was the pace of play. You really had to play. You had to finish your games on a pretty strict time limit and jump and run into the next series. And I would have enjoyed the tournaments more had they been played at more of a leisurely pace. But that was really my only complaint about Strat-O-Matic tournament play, was the speed of the games. And otherwise, Strat-O-Matic tournament play was great fun. As age and responsibilities and health concerns and other life issues came into play, I have not been at a Strat-O-Matic tournament, I don't think, since somewhere around 2005, 2006. And I don't think it's something I would ever get back into at the age of 56. Although a lot of the guys that were playing then or still playing now. And it was a fun experience, and something I will always look back on with happy memories. Now, thank you to D. Scott Howard for his stirring rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. We head back to the ballpark in the bottom of the 7th with Jake Peavy still on the mound and the Padres leading by 5. Peavy is now used up all of his freshness, so he is no longer semi-fresh, and any freshness roll will be against him at this point in time. But he's rolling, and we'd love to see him get through this game and save the bullpen, because this is a best-of-3 series. And here we go. The pitch from Peavy to Ron Gann is a 1-4-6. Is he a flash? Yes, he is a flash. That doesn't go away with fatigue. And he strikes out Gant to open the inning. Mark McGwire now is your batter. And according to the Decide or Die, he is juiced. So he is a full home run king and a full slugger. And I did see Mark McGwire play in Cincinnati, and he hit a majestic home run. I think that ball was hit as high up in the air as any ball I've ever seen down the left field line into the third deck at Riverfront Stadium. May have been called Synergy Field by then, but it was a majestic home run. The pitch to McGwire is a 4.55. Is the pitcher a flash? He is still a flash, and McGwire goes down swinging. And with 2 outs now, it's the top of the order, and Delino to Shields. To Shields 1 for 3 with a single. And the pitch from Peavy is a 2.46. Is Peavy a control pitcher? Yes, he is. That's a comebacker to the man for a meek third out of the inning. Okay, question from Brandon Baker. Who does the winner of this series face next? This is the semifinals of the best team I've ever seen tournament. And if you're new to this tournament, these are all teams that I have seen in their home stadiums. In 2016, I was very blessed to complete my tour of all the major league teams in their home ballparks. Some of them I saw in previous ballparks. For example, the Astros I saw in the Astrodome. Haven't been back to see Enron Field or Minute Maid Park or whatever they're calling it now. But as of 2016, I have been blessed to see every ball game, every baseball team in their home park. And so that is how I chose these teams. This is the semifinals, and the winner of this will go to the finals of the tournament. In the other bracket, we have still the semifinal matchup between the 2003 Chicago White Sox and the 2010 Reds. When I made the brackets, I only had 15 American League teams. I needed one more team to make it a full 32-team bracket. So I added another Reds team to the fray because it's my tournament and I love the Reds and I can do what I want. So I had the Reds already in the National League bracket from the 1990 edition, which was the World Series winners. And so I pulled in the 2010 Reds to fill out the bracket on the American League side, and it will be the Reds and the White Sox in the semifinal series on the American League side with full American League rules, designated hitter, and all that. And so the winner of this series will face the winner of the 03 Reds and the 03 White Sox and the 2010 Reds. All right, top of the 8th. Lots to do here in the top of the 8th as Mark Sweeney comes to the plate against Pet Kajzek. Rumor has it there was a fight at the bat rack in the Padres dugout when Pet Kajzek came on to pitch because everybody wants to take their swings at this rag arm. The pitch from Pet Kajzek is 3.66. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is this a pinch hitter? No. And the result is a fly out to center field. Next up is Ramon Hernandez facing Pet Kajzek. Hernandez the hot hitter, and the roll is a 1-3-4. Do we have a gold catcher? No. Do we have a champion batter? No. We have outfield drama. To the outfield we go once again for the Cardinals. The roll here is a 2-5. Is the center fielder iron? That is Ray Lankford. I think Lankford's a Gold Glover. No, he's a neutral fielder. So he is not iron, and he will not be unable to make this play. Instead, it's a running grab of a looping liner for the out. So that is a line drive out to center field. And that brings Ryan Klesko to the plate and takes us back to our standard hitting charts. Klesko stands in against Petkajzik. The pitch from Petkajzik is 2-4-6. Is he a control pitcher? He is semi-control, but the decider die says no. Is the batter eager or a sad sack? No. And the result is a base on balls. That is the third walk of the game for Ryan Klesko to go with a single and a sac fly. So it is the 8th inning. Klesko's been out there the whole time, and he is just 1 for 1 officially in your scorebook. And with 2 outs now and a runner on first, Khalil Green is your batter. Pitch to Green is a 2-6-6. And that's a runner on first thrown out. I hate that play. And I think it was Klesko the last time that got thrown out on that same roll. Oh, my goodness. So Klesko is picked off at first once again. This time we'll call it a pickoff, and we'll call it 1-3. Maybe they did the hidden ball trick or something. That is the end of the top of the 8th. Jake Peavy is going to come back out to the bottom of the 8th. To answer your question, D. Scott Howard, Safeco or Kingdome, actually that is one town that I have been blessed to go to twice. I did make it out to Seattle for the first time in '96 and saw the Kingdome. And that was an interesting story because I saw the Kingdome during the NBA Finals series between the Seattle Supersonics and the Chicago Bulls. So we went to the Kingdome and saw an afternoon ball game, and then we went to the Kingdome or the Sky Needle restaurant, and we were in the rotating restaurant above the Kingdome, and that's where we were when the Seattle Supersonics were playing in whatever the basketball arena was at the time against the Bulls, and we saw, people with Bulls gear coming in and out, and people with Sonics gear coming out, and there was a lot more interest in the basketball during the time we were at the Kingdome. Since then, I have been back to Seattle on business of some sort, and did go to Safeco Field as well. So wonderful city, Seattle. Always enjoy the opportunity to get up there. Okay, bottom of the 8th. We are at an hour and a half elapsed time, which is a long time for me to be on the broadcast, but people are still in the chat room, and we're still yakking it up, having a good old time, as Jake Peavy stands in for his 8th inning of work against Willie McGee, and the first pitch is a 1-2-5. Is Peavy a struggler? Heck no. Is McGee patient? No, he is not. Is he a whiffer? Yes, he is. That's another strikeout. So McGee goes down swinging, and that brings to the plate Ray Lankford. Lankford now batting lefty. 1-2-3 is the pitch. Is he both flash and fresh? No, he is not fresh. But the end result is still going to be a ground out to shortstop. So a quick 6-3 flip from Khalil Green across to Sweeney for the second out. And here comes Gary Gaetti, the cold batter for the Cardinals, standing in against Peavy against a 1-3-6. Is Peavy an ace? No. Is the batter a whiffer or cold? He is a semi-whiffer, so he is both a whiffer and cold, and that's another strikeout, and Peavy is mowing him down. He has really stepped it up since he got the lead, and he is just mowing him down one by one. D. Scott Howard says he was at the Sonics game at Key Arena. How about that? We almost had a chance to meet each other, some 24 years ago. I did wave, by the way, from the top of the Space Needle at the restaurant. I don't know if you saw me. And Petkajzik is on. Let's check the usage here for the top of the 9th. I think he can still go, and there's no reason to save Petkajzik. He is on the home team, and he is pitching. Yeah, he has gone 1 1/3, And according to the lineup here, yes, he can go a full 3 innings if need be. So he can go this inning and not face any usage penalties. So Khalil Green standing in against Petkaizik. Top of the 9th inning here. Still a 6-1 ball game. The pitch from Petkaizik is 4-5-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the hitter patient? No. And the end result of that roll is a fly out to center field. And that brings Jeff Blum to the plate. Blum 0 for 2 today with a pair of walks. And that takes us to our team chemistry chart. On the team chemistry chart, the roll is 2-4. Do we have batting team harmony? We certainly do. And the batter connects on a bloop single. First hit of the ball game for Jeff Blum as he pulls in at first base. And that brings Damian Jackson to the plate. Here is Jackson against Petkaizik. 2-5-6 is the roll. Is Petkaizik a struggler? No. Is the batter champion or patient? No. And that's going to take us to infield drama. No Ozzie Smith for St. Louis in 1997. And on the infield chart, it's a 1-3 is the third baseman iron. Let's see, who's playing third today? Gary Gaetti. He was a very good fielder. He's a gold glove or gold rated fielder. So he will not bungle the routine grounder. In fact, that's a routine ground out, and on a lead die of 1, that is a 5-4-3 double play. So Petkaizik defies the odds and gets through 2 1/3 scoreless innings. As Jake Peavy comes out here in the bottom of the 9th, hoping to finish what he started, facing 5, 6, and 7 in your order: Lampkin, Clayton, and the pitcher spot. 5 to tie, 6 to take the lead, they're saying on the Cardinals bench. The rally caps are on. The Busch Stadium fans are clapping their hands and stomping their feet. 2-5-5 is the pitch from Peavy. Is the pitcher a star? He is a star, and that is a strikeout. So Lampkin goes down for the first out. Royce Clayton comes to the plate to face Peavy. 2-3-3 is the roll. Is Peavy an ace or a star? Yes, he is a star. And that's a ground out to shortstop. And with 2 outs, we need a pinch hitter to substitute for Mark Petkaizik. Actually, we'll do that. And the usual pinch hitter for St. Louis in this situation is John Mabry. Yeah, we'll play it straight and go with John Mabry, who the Cardinals would really pinch hit. I wanted to be sentimental and bring David Bell to the plate because I don't think he's had a plate appearance in this tournament, and he is now the manager of the Reds. And I would love to see him get an at bat, but he is a full utility, so a poor hitting infielder. We'll go with our standard pinch hitter in this situation, which is John Mabry. So Petkaizik comes out. Mabry into pinch hit, and Peavy hoping to finish what he started here if he can retire Mabry with 2 outs here in the 9th. The pitch from Peavy is a 3-5-6. Are the batter and pitcher the same? No. If they were, it would be a strikeout. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? No. That would have been David Bell. That would have been a ground out to shortstop. Instead, we get a single down the first baseline. So Mabry hits one in the hole at first, and he winds up at first base as hope springs eternal here at Busch Stadium with Ron Gant coming to the plate. Ron Gant is a semi-utility. Might we want to replace him with somebody who's a little better stick? Yeah, they're going to bring Phil Plantier in to bat now for... Actually, they're going to bring Brian Jordan in. Brian Jordan is hot based on his... what we learned on the game day chart earlier. So Brian Jordan will come in to replace Ron Gant, as he is a hot hitter. Peavy still hoping to finish what he started. 1-3-6 is the roll. Is the pitcher an ace? No. Is the batter a whiffer or cold? The decider die says he is not a whiffer. And again, we go to the infield drama chart. My goodness. Infield drama here for the Padres. 5-5 is the roll. Is the first baseman iron? That is Mark Sweeney. Mark Sweeney is neutral on the fielding chart. So the iron first baseman would have delivered a wild throw to the pitcher covering first, and the batter would have been safe on an error, but instead it is a routine grounder. It is a 3-1 play, and fittingly it is Peavy who steps on first base to retire Brian Jordan for the final out of a very, very fine pitching performance. So score that one in your scorebook, 3-1 on the ground out. And that is your ball game. The final score in Game 1 of the series is the San Diego Padres 6 and the St. Louis Cardinals 1. And as we're compiling the stats for the game, let's take a look at the team batting first for the Padres. Let's take a look at our box score. We'll start with the team batting for the Padres. Brandon Baker has a question, and I'll get to that because it takes a while for these screens to swap out. So let's look at the team batting stats for San Diego. Mark Loretta, obviously your star of the game, fell a single short of the cycle. 3 for 5, 2 runs scored, 1 RBI on his home run. Big day at the plate. Also a nice day for Damian Jackson, 2 for 4 with a pair of runs batted in. Brian Giles, 2 for 5. Had a nice performance at the plate. And now we'll take a look at the Cardinals batting. And while we're waiting for that to come up, how do I decide game-to-game limits on relievers? I'll put this on screen. This is the Stottlemyre Tournament relief tracking score sheet that I use. And it's, I mentioned the Stottlemyre tournaments. The Stottlemyre tournament rules for reliever usage are: a relief pitcher cannot pitch in 4 consecutive games. A relief pitcher cannot pitch more than 4 innings over any 4-game span. And a relief pitcher cannot pitch more than 2 innings in a game. So I have the Cardinals relief here. And for example, Tony Fossis on day 9 of the tournament pitched 2 innings. So he could only pitch a grand total of 2 innings between, games 10 through 12. So he'll still be somewhat limited in game 12, which would be game 2 of this series. That is how I decide my relief pitcher usage. Okay, now we have the Cardinals batting stats. The Cardinals were held to 6 hits. 5 of them were singles. Ray Lankford had the only extra base hit of the game, which was the RBI double in the first inning. So that's going to make Ray Lankford the hot hitter for the next game. The cold guy for the next game will be probably Willie McGee, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Or Tom Lampkin, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. We'll let the decider die determine that. Now for your team pitching. Jake Peavy went the distance. 35 batters faced, 9 innings complete, 6 hits, 1 run earned, 12 strikeouts. Very solid performance by Jake Peavy. And for the Cardinals, not a bad pitched game for Todd Stottlemyre. Actually, not a great game for Todd Stottlemyre. He only lasted 5 innings and gave up 3 runs over 5 innings on 6 hits and 8 walks. Look at that stat. 8 walks for Stottlemyre in only 5 innings of work, and that's a killer. Rigo Beltran pitched actually an inning and 1/3. That's where I goofed that up. And Tony Fossis pitched a third of an inning, but the earned run would still be charged to Beltran. And Pekajzik 2 1/3 shutout innings. How about that? All right, so that is your box score and your recap of today's ball game. Thank you so much to everybody who came out. This was a great time. This is about as much fun as I've had doing History Maker Baseball as we head towards the home stretch of the Best Team I Have Ever Seen tournament. So to Brandon Baker, D. Scott Howard, who else was here in the chat room today? For some reason my mouse is not helping my, because, here we go. P. Jet was here. Clinton Parks, Beatles Eternally. ID Jester made a cameo appearance. Rob was here, Amish Gaming, Clinton Parks. Great crowd today. Thank you all for coming out for today's ball game as the Padres take game 1 of the series, and they stand 1 game away from the final round of the tournament. And from the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network here at the Dave Cave, that's our stream, and I am out of here.